Absolute
Stunning.
steamrolling.
The only time I've been as equally shocked was the 2018 World Championship match.
You're about to witness Fabiano Caruana making one of the most steamrolling comebacks in the Grand Chess Tour finals. The commentary team are stunned, and then we're going to move on to this nail-biting finish final game.
Unbelievable.
In the last moment. Wow.
Heartbreak.
One move away from winning this one.
Kidding me.
Just watch.
Was it King 8? What did we just witness?
So first, we're picking up here the first of 4 games I'm going to bring you. Fabi's got black and he is behind by like 2 games, trying to fight back with this Sicilian defense. I've got 2 exceptional Sicilian Kalashnikovs to show you. Really double-edged opening. Magnus and Fabi debated this in 2018. It's such a fun line here. We now see the knight taken. You're fighting for control of this square. We see the same opening coming soon. And watch this, because Fabi just gets these fascinating dynamic positions. You are pressuring this pawn, but when you take, your knight drops. So rook b8 played, pawn c3. Often this knight rotates, something like this. Really amazing ideas, positional battle. And after knight c2 rotating, Fabi gains some space. And b4, you can say crazy Uncle Kramnik. MVL shuts it down. Castles, a4 played. A beautiful pawn cube, aka the pube. Now we see it shaved. A load of pawns going into the blender here. We're not doing deep analysis today. We're going quick and dirty. Thrilling final it was. Watch out for these kind of things in the air. So rook c8 was played. Now the rook rotates over. King h8. Bishop backing up to e2. And MVL maintains this nice light squared control here, holding his center together. You could go for a queen exchange. We see it soon. We're not going to pause for every question mark. They're playing blitz chess here. It's the finals of the Grand Chess Tour. They're in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Pawn pressured, and it does indeed drop. But Fabi fights back here by first kicking the rook and then sacrificing the exchange. A brilliancy met with some brilliancies in return. Now this is the point. You get a pawn and a rook and a lovely pin and all this good stuff. But there's a fight back move. Rook d1. It's excellent because if you capture here, now you can go bang, bang, bang. And this is looking quite drawish. But if anyone's better, got to be white with this structure. Worse king. Remember, draws suit MVL. So Fabi jumps, hits the rook, hits the knight. This one takes here now because you had too many problems. Goes for the same kind of themes where you emerge with the same material but with a better pawn structure. King g7, rook rotating round. Both players nudging around now. We're going to rattle through the moves because soon the h pawn gets going here. No one's blundering anything. Lovely jubbly. Knight rotating around. And after the rook now invades, we see the knight hop forward. h5, check. And a blunder from MVL here. He's such a strong blitz player normally, but he's lost his mojo a little bit. What if you go here? Well, you stay in the right position. Force the knight to make a decision. Bishop can take, what is it, rook b2. Okay, the line goes from here, but this is a saving move. You can't quite make the tactics work for black. Should be roughly level, but no king h3, king f1. And the problem is this. The rook is invading. You can't save the knight or the bishop drops. You can't move the king here because of the knight. If you move here, well then rook a2 check. And you soon force things back or the pawn collapses. So we saw the h-pawn run. Check. King goes. Knight drops. Fabi's won a piece. This is the only hope. But the knight jumps back. Covers the square. And that is all she wrote. King marching in. This is how the game proceeded. Resigns. One in the bag for Fabiano. We jump to this one. He's still in a must-win. He's still down. He goes for a kind of Catalan thingy here, named after the chess-playing cat, Alan. He's out there actually watching it. He's a second of about 2 or 3 of the players. We see this stuff unfolding here, and MVL not in form. Now he allows the shattering of the structure. Looks very weird when you've castled, but actually these pawns cover a lot of squares, so it's not that easy for the minor pieces to get in. Meanwhile, the rooks are coming to the centre. The knight can rotate into the defence, sometimes the bishop. Okay, black's fine. But instead of the rook centralising, we get bishop e7. And it truly is as stinky as it looks. Actually, it doesn't look bad. It looks fine. But the point is this. Pawn to b4. And the problem is that when the knight moves, the queen is no longer defended by a bishop, right? This is the key thing. So you can play the tactical shot. Can you find it? Knight d5. Really common motif in that if you capture here, you've got the swish and zug. Many top players whisper it. It means in between move. You can also say intermezzo. And when the smoke clears, you emerge a piece ahead. And the knight is not getting trapped. Can find a home here. So this is why we didn't see, whoops, queen d8 was played. We didn't see takes. So instead we saw this. Like I said, if you capture, your queen is dropping. So queen d8 played. Now we get takes on e4. Could have also gone knight c7 to win an exchange, open the discovery. But this was the game, allowing takes, but it leaves black with a horrible structure, even though the material's level. Bishop pair counts for nothing. This one's so dead, and the knight now hops to c6. In a way, looks weird. You want to leave the blockade. You allow this. But if you do this, not played, well then you've eliminated one of the defenders of the central pawn, and although it's opposite coloured bishops, way too much material, way too exposed king, you can now generate an attack. Think this sort of stuff. So we didn't see takes, queen saves herself, now the pawn drops anyway, and the amazing thing about this position is even though white is absolutely killing it, b5 probably best, Fabi now goes a touch wrong. Hoovering up pawns here, but it's not really the play because he gives black counterplay. Now you don't really want to take here or f7 collapses. So this was played. Hits the rook. A little lift would have been best probably. Look to attack, attack, attack. Different options. But this played. Now rook g5 and you're in a tiny spot of bother here. Queen c6 is actually best. Going for this clever exchange. But queen d2, the natural human blitz move, just holding the knight, holding the pawn, that sort of thing. But this is actually a bit of a killer now. Because you hit the rook, you don't really want to leave the back rank. Rook a1's actually the best move. But then there's bishop b4. And it's a double attack here. Also you're converging here. If check, never check this out, king g7, knight b3. I think the major problem is black is getting this huge initiative. These pieces aren't connected. There's problems with the white king now. So we run back. This was the killer move to make it equal, but king g7 allows the knight out the box. And just like that, nice move to cover the queen invasion. Fabi now standing better. And once again, for the second time in the game, we see MVL very uncharacteristically blundering with this horrible move. It allows the tactical shot. Rook g4. And like that, he resigns. He's just losing a piece. Really strange chess from a 2700 plus. Jump to the third game. Fabi wants more with black. They're now level, I think. It's hard to remember. It was kind of a blur. But at this point, Fabi's hugely bounced back. Another Kalashnikov In the previous game, bishop g7, here an immediate takes. And look at the position that Fabi gets with the black pieces storming through the centre. What a diagonal there. Lovely chocolate slide, sliding right onto it. Knight centralising, but here MVL goes terribly wrong. He should bring a rook to the centre, get off the gaze of the bishop, maybe go b3 soon, could look for g3, sometimes even f4 to take away squares. Alright, rich position. But queen f4 is played, and it's just not the right plan. You hit 2 pawns, but you drop the central d pawn. Now taking was actually best, but different game. This was played, and it's truly horrendous, because although you hit the knight, it drops back with tempo, queen goes, and you thrust through the centre, and just like that, you're absolutely carving up the white position. Look at these space invaders, an arrowhead of pawns, king safety, very nice, queen sidestepping, and now the pawn's ready to run, or take, knight saves itself, d4 on the board. This is when you know it's gone wrong, when you've got 2 enemy pawns on the 4th rank, protected, dominating, here comes the pony, this is a little trick, take me, I take you, but no chance today. Fabi just jumps back. Not sure why he didn't dive straight in. Okay, bishop f5, pawn drops, fine. So he covers. Now we see this, rook a d8, and he's just patiently bringing all his bits to the centre. X-ray attack, rook fe1, f4 very tempting, but queen actually drops, pawn's a bit tender. So instead we see this, and bishop g2, and knight d5. Here he comes back, manoeuvring into the game, rook has to give ground, and here it comes. The moment we've been waiting for. Pawn f4, the foot soldiers marching, queen has to retreat, and look at this. Have you ever seen such a horrendous bind? An absolute diamond formation with the pony charging through the middle. What a position. Just an incredible paralysis of the white pieces. Rook h5 winning on like every single move. This a huge threat. The king can't even actually move, and there's just like nothing. I mean, say you try this, still check, king goes. What's the follow-up? Knight f5, rook's coming. It really is all over. This was the game, how things proceeded. MVL just clinging on for dear life, sacking a bishop, but all in vain. Check, here we see resigns. Because say you go king h2, most natural move, there's knight e4, and if you retreat, again most natural move. I mean, you don't actually have any other squares, right? Everything's taken. Then this one invades to the second. King goes, let's say here, check, here, mate. Different lines, right? Doesn't really matter if you go here first. Same difference. So that's why resigns. That's 3 on the bounce for Fabi. We go into the last game here, and he just needs to draw, but it turns into an absolute thriller. He kicks off with the white pieces here. Nimzo Indian offered, but declined. We get this business. Got to mix it up here when you're in a must-win situation. This is the game. We're not going to dwell too much on the opening. They all know their stuff here. And MVL, to his credit, gets a half-decent position. Picks up the bishop pair here. Knight jumping, but for some reason Fabi doesn't want the bishop. Fine, he knows more than me. This is a tricky move. You take me, I take you. There are some ninja lines with knight f7, but we won't even go there. This was played, and black standing a little better. The bishops do look good. The pawn is under fire in the centre, defended. Bishop dropping back there. Now the rook centralised here. A wonderful rook tangle on the board. You just don't see it every day. Someone's about to get rook rolled. Knight e8 manoeuvring. Both players love a bit of horseplay. And now we see some pieces going into the blender. Surely favouring Fabi, the side who just wants to draw. But here's MVL's point. He does have a little nibble wibble slightly on the position. Now if your name's Magnus, this is maybe enough, but good luck with this. Playing against Fabi, setting up the overpowered Connect 4, he wins a lovely pair of chess socks and an autograph from Hans Niemann. Very lucky guy, and although it looks like Fabi's got everything under control here, nice and safe, nice and snug, Queen C1. Turns the tables in a bit of a nasty way. Ignore the evaluation, because fine, Queen F3 best, but not played, this played, and the plummet of the bar. The butt flap has been removed. Everything's dropping. Check here, and F5 already is a winning move, because if you take on Croissant, of course it's basically obliged, unless you're a massive loser. You have to be doing that. It's just the move. It looks so cool. Well, the knight's attacked, and what to do? If you try and save it, I mean, where to go really? It's very difficult. Say you went for a little sack and you go for this business. Remember, you only need a draw. Well, then takes, check, you can drop back. Fine, none of that works. What if you come here? Well, then there's King F7. Thought I had these lines prepared, but apparently I was clicking on some separate stuff. Long story short, the king is in a big bind. F5 a threat, so you have to start doing it yourself. This. Queen D1 check. Let's pause it there. I don't want to go too deep here. The point really is that these pieces are not on the right squares. The king is in trouble. So fine, getting too deep. We'll run back to the game because G6 played. Knight H3 now from Fabi. Desperately trying to cover the king. King G7, Queen F3 best, not played. Knight H7, Queen D7, and in just a moment we get one of the most shocking finishes we've seen in a long time, because after Queen D2, huge blunder, MVL has another winning idea with Pawn F5, and he finds it. Check of the king. If you take en passant, en croissant, king goes, and this is the winning move. Can you find it? It's not that easy. It's pawn G5, because if takes with the king, the knight drops, mate soon to follow. If takes with the pawn, you've opened up the lateral. So this, and then this isn't easy. Check here and mate. And there's some other wacky lines, right? It's really not that straightforward, but that gives a flavour of takes like this. This was the game, however, and once again you have to find pawn G5 check. Missed by MVL. And the point is, takes, then there's this incredible manoeuvre. Can you find it? This really isn't easy stuff. Knight F8, and what's so beautiful about this move is you cover D7 from the queen check and invasion, as well as threatening this and then mating too, because after the king steps up you mate, and you just cannot fight against it. No matter what you do, you can't get the queen over. You can try this, whatever, but check, only square and mate. So those were the patterns that MVL had to find. Low on the clock. He doesn't. He plays Queen F3, going for a checkmate in one. But check. The queen's invading first, and this is all she wrote. A perpetual forced by Fabi. He could even be winning the game with a knight jump, but he simply goes for the draw. If running back here, by the way, check, you try and run up this way, then there's this cute little tactic, and you win the queen, and with it the game. Final position, Fabi wins the Grand Chess Tour Finals 2025. Congrats to him. Hope you enjoyed. If you stuck this far, 4 for the price of 1 today. Do smash subscribe and like if you did, and have a look at the video on screen for some more epic chess. Cheers.